Merry Christmas. I hope you are enjoying this holiday season. As I've looked into the Christmas story, I try to read it often. I try to change my perspective as I read it so that I will learn something brand new each time that I open up the pages of the scriptures and read the account. Recently, I was looking at the wise men. And in the world that we live in, and maybe even since I was a child, there have been those moments where that story has been concised, miniaturized. The claymation figures on television or the little cartoons or the pageants at church seem to make that trip a very, very quick trip. A trip from the corner store that takes maybe 15 minutes. But in reality, that trip was much longer. And I had to chuckle as I thought about it, about what if I was one of the wise men on my beast of burden, heading to see the Christ child, and I would turn to my buddy and go, "Hey dude, do you think maybe we're going in the right direction, or maybe we're not in the right direction? Do you think that's the right star? Do you think we should have turned at that last cactus instead of the cactus we're turning at now? Do you think that dune over there might be maybe in the wrong direction?" I don't know. But it made me think about being on a trip without all the directions. I believe it was a holiday trip. In college, my wife and I were in Michigan, and her family lived in Rochester, New York. And I remember the first time that we took that trip from campus to her home. It's about an 8 or 9 hour trip. And I remember thinking, I just need to call my future father-in-law and get the key information that I might make this trip. Now, of course, back in those times, there were no cell phones in every hand. There was no navigational system in every car. You had to have the road map, and you had to be able to navigate that map by looking at all the lines and the colors, figure it out. Well, I remember we were ready to go. Dad had given me the information over the phone. Here's where you want to go. Here's how you get there. So we jump into the car, load the luggage, make sure that we got plenty of cassettes to play and music to travel by. And as with most trips, she fell asleep fairly quickly, and I was doing most of the driving. Not that big a deal. We're driving along, and now the stars are starting to come out. Sun has gone down. It's the deep part of the night, and just, darkness with headlights. And suddenly, it's starting to get brighter and brighter, and I realize, hey, I'm getting close to a city, and I suddenly see a sign. And the sign says, "Welcome to Toronto." Now, if you know anything about that trip, going from Michigan into Canada, you're supposed to go south out of Canada, back into the U.S., into New York, and then down New York, and you find Rochester. I knew that. But you say, here I am entering the Toronto city limits with all the beautiful lights of Toronto, and I realize we're slightly off course. I wake her up and give her the great news that we are going to Toronto. Isn't it beautiful? Which she didn't receive real well because she was expecting to be awoken to the idea that we're just about to your home. Anyway, we figured it out. We turned around, we got to where we were going. But here's the point I want to make today. There are times when we start off on a journey and we're missing a piece of information. As I think about this holiday season, I hope that you don't miss a piece of information. The most important information in the journey to Christmas is to know why we are journeying to Christmas. I don't mind gifts. I don't mind singing. I don't mind holiday specials. I don't mind the decorations. But I want to make sure that as I'm moving toward the destination, which I believe we all want that joy that comes with the Christmas time. But if I am missing the key piece of information that Jesus is the reason for the joy, the reason for the fun we feel with families, the times that we have, the memories that we make, is because there's a piece of information that leads me to a destination that is the true author of joy. So that's all I have to share with you today. That's it. Make sure you get all the information for the journey. Merry Christmas.